What if everything you believe about synchronicities is wrong? For centuries, we have been led to think that meaningful coincidences are external messages from the universe, divine signs pointing us toward a predestined path. But what if this idea is nothing more than a comforting illusion? What if synchronicities are not happening to you, but through you? What changes when, instead of being passive receivers of signs, we become the architects of these experiences? Stay until the end, because what I am about to reveal could completely change the way you perceive reality. Many esoteric and spiritual traditions advocate the idea that the universe guides us through repetitive patterns, numbers, symbols, and coincidental events. The problem with this belief is that it places us in a position of waiting, of dependence, as if we are always looking for external validation. But what if these coincidences are not proof of destiny, but rather reflections of your own mind? Have you ever noticed how different cultures assign completely different meanings to the same synchronicities? What is considered a positive omen in one place may be seen as a warning in another. This proves that signs are not universal. They are subjective interpretations shaped by our subconscious mind. Now, let's go even deeper. If signs were truly messages from the universe, why do so many people interpret the same experience in opposite ways? Some see the number 1111 as a spiritual calling, while others regard it as mere coincidence. This suggests one clear thing: signs do not have inherent meaning, they reflect what you already believe. The human brain operates through selective attention, filtering millions of pieces of information every second and highlighting only what reinforces its dominant beliefs. This is the same phenomenon that makes you suddenly notice a specific car model everywhere after deciding to buy it. It was always there, but now your mind is programmed to perceive it. The same applies to synchronicities. They are not external messages, but internal patterns that your brain projects onto reality. But if this is true, what does it mean for your life? The answer can be liberating. You are not bound by a fixed destiny, nor do you need to wait for signs to know which path to take. If synchronicities are creations of your own mind, then instead of seeking them, you can begin to create them intentionally. Now, imagine what would happen if you could not only interpret these patterns, but also program them to work in your favor. Sounds impossible? Then wait until you see how your mind is shaping reality without you even realizing it. Your mind is not just perceiving reality, it is constructing it. Every thought, belief, and subconscious assumption you hold is shaping the world you experience. What if I told you that the reality you see is not objective, but rather a carefully curated projection of your own mind? If you could grasp this concept fully, you would realize that everything from the patterns you notice to the so-called synchronicities in your life is being formed by you, whether you are aware of it or not. The human brain is not a passive receiver of reality. It is an active filter. It processes millions of bits of information per second, but only allows a small fraction of that to reach your conscious awareness. And what determines which information gets through? Your subconscious programming. If you strongly believe in something, whether it's a fear, a desire, or an expectation, your brain will constantly search for evidence to confirm that belief. This is known as the reticular activating system, a neural network responsible for filtering reality based on your internal focus. Let's take an example. You decide to buy a red car, and suddenly, red cars seem to be everywhere. It's not that more red cars magically appeared, it's that your mind is now attuned to noticing them. The same principle applies to synchronicities. If you focus intensely on a particular number, symbol, or theme, your brain will heighten its awareness of anything that aligns with it. This is why certain numbers seem to follow you, or why a particular message seems to appear at just the right time. But here's the crucial point: it's not an external force creating these patterns, it's you. This is where the illusion of divine signs begins to unravel. Many believe that when they see a repeated number, the universe is speaking to them. But in reality, it is their own subconscious mind filtering their perception to highlight what they are already focused on. When you internalize this truth, you unlock a profound realization: if your mind is shaping what you perceive, then mastering your mind means mastering your reality. This means that instead of waiting for signs, you can start consciously designing the synchronicities you experience. But what happens when you start applying this knowledge? Imagine intentionally setting a focus in your mind, whether it's a goal, a symbol, or a specific pattern, and watching as your reality begins to shift around it. The next step is learning how to program these synchronicities in your favor, turning your subconscious mind into a tool for deliberate manifestation. If your perception is a filter, then what happens when you take control of what it lets through? The answer will change everything. Have you ever noticed that when you expect something to happen, it often does? This is not just coincidence. It is a fundamental principle of how reality operates. Your perception does not just reflect the world around you, actively shapes it. This is known as the perception projection loop, the cycle where what you focus on becomes reinforced in your reality, and that reinforcement strengthens your perception. Once you understand this mechanism, you can begin to control it rather than be controlled by it. Imagine waking up on a Monday morning. If you already believe that Mondays are terrible, your brain will filter the day's experiences to confirm that belief. You will notice the traffic, the minor inconveniences, the slow start, but ignore the moments of ease or joy. Your perception programs your reality. Now, think about someone who genuinely believes Mondays bring fresh opportunities. They will notice different things, moments of productivity, good interactions, and new beginnings. Same day, same world, completely different experiences, dictated by what the mind expects. This loop doesn't just apply to everyday moods, it directly impacts synchronicities. If you constantly think about a certain number, symbol, or even a person, your brain will heighten its awareness toward anything that aligns with that focus. Suddenly, you start seeing that number everywhere. You begin encountering references to that symbol in unexpected places, and that person seems to appear more frequently in your life. But was it really the universe sending you a message, or was it your mind amplifying the presence of what it was already tuned into? Here's the real revelation. This is not just passive observation, it is manifestation in action. When you repeatedly focus on something, you create a gravitational pull in your subconscious mind that draws more of it into your reality. The more you reinforce a pattern, the stronger it becomes, creating a feedback loop between perception and experience. This is why negative thoughts often spiral into negative experiences, while those who consciously focus on positive outcomes seem to attract success effortlessly. The cycle is always running, but the question is, are you using it consciously or letting it run unchecked? Now that you know how the perception projection loop works, the next step is harnessing it deliberately. What if you could take control of what your mind filters and amplifies? What if, instead of waiting for signs, you could program your reality to deliver exactly what you want to see? This is where the real power lies. But how do you shift from passive observer to active creator? The answer is simpler than you might think, and it all starts with redefining how you interpret synchronicities. Have you ever wondered why certain numbers, symbols, or patterns seem to follow you everywhere? Many believe these are messages from the universe, guiding them toward a specific path. But what if these synchronicities are not external signals, but reflections of your internal state? The truth is, your mind is constantly shaping the patterns you perceive. Every repeated number, every uncanny coincidence, is a direct result of your focus, attention, and subconscious programming. Instead of waiting for signs, you are actually generating them. The reason synchronicities appear so frequently in people's lives is because of a psychological mechanism called confirmation bias. When you attach meaning to a particular symbol or number, your brain actively seeks out more occurrences of it, reinforcing the belief that it has special significance. This creates a self-fulfilling loop. The more you notice something, the more you believe in its importance, and the more your mind filters reality to highlight it. It feels magical, but in truth, it is a mental process happening beneath the surface of your awareness. Let's take an example. Imagine you start seeing 1111 repeatedly. The moment you assign meaning to it, believing it signifies alignment or a spiritual message, your subconscious mind begins searching for it everywhere. Suddenly, you check your phone at exactly 1111, notice it on receipts, or hear someone mention it in conversation. But did the number truly hold meaning before you focused on it? Or did your focus create the illusion of a divine pattern? This is the power of perception in action. This realization is not meant to dismiss synchronicities, but to empower you to use them consciously. If the mind has the ability to generate these patterns through attention, then it means you are not a passive recipient of messages, you are the creator of your own symbolic reality. Instead of randomly encountering synchronicities, you can assign meaning to symbols of your choice and train your subconscious to recognize them as confirmations of your desires and intentions. This transforms synchronicities from passive occurrences into powerful tools of manifestation. Now that you understand how synchronicities truly work, the next step is learning how to take control and redefine meaning on your own terms. What if you could consciously decide what a symbol represents instead of relying on external interpretations? What if, rather than waiting for confirmation from the universe, you could assign meaning to synchronicities and use them as anchors for your own transformation? The key lies in the power of redefining meaning, and that is exactly what we will explore next. What if the meaning you give to something is more powerful than the thing itself? Throughout history, symbols, numbers, and events have been assigned significance by cultures, traditions, and belief systems. But here's the hidden truth: meaning is not inherent, it is assigned. And once you realize this, you gain the power to reshape your reality by redefining what things mean to you personally, rather than accepting external interpretations. Think about it: why does the number 7 symbolize luck in some cultures, but neutrality in others? Why does a black cat represent misfortune to some and spiritual protection to others? The answer is simple: these meanings were assigned by human belief, not by objective truth. And if meaning is flexible, then you are the one who decides what a symbol represents in your life. This is where true power lies. Most people operate under meanings imposed upon them, whether through societal norms, religious doctrines, or collective superstition. But when you consciously choose the significance of a number, a sign, or an event, you reclaim authority over your subconscious programming. Instead of waiting for external confirmation, you create internal certainty. Imagine assigning a personal meaning to a recurring symbol, making it a marker of your progress rather than a random occurrence. This shifts you from passive observer to active designer of your reality. Here's the key: meaning fuels manifestation. When you declare that a certain sign represents abundance, growth, or alignment, your subconscious will start filtering experiences to reinforce that belief. This is why people who believe in angel numbers keep seeing them. Their focus makes them real in their perception. But what happens when you stop relying on universal meanings and start crafting your own? Suddenly, you are not just interpreting reality, you are writing the script. Now, the question becomes, how do you apply this in daily life? The answer is simpler than you think. Instead of seeking signs from the universe, begin assigning meaning to the symbols and patterns you want to reinforce. Decide what repeated numbers, dreams, or even challenges signify in your personal growth. When you master this, you will no longer feel like a seeker, waiting for signs. You will become the creator, declaring them at will. And this leads us to the next level: how to program synchronicities in your favor. What if you could deliberately create synchronicities instead of waiting for them to appear? Most people see synchronicities as external signs guiding them, but the truth is, they are the result of internal programming. If you understand how to consciously shape your perception and expectations, you can make synchronicities work for you rather than leaving them to chance. The first step is defining personal meaning for symbols, numbers, and recurring events. Instead of passively interpreting what appears, decide in advance what these patterns will signify in your life. For example, you can assign a number like 777 as a marker of alignment with your goals, or see a specific animal as a signal of progress. By making these meanings intentional, your subconscious mind begins reinforcing them, bringing them into your awareness more often. Next, focus on clear and specific intentions. Synchronicities appear more frequently when your mind is aligned with a particular outcome. If you want to attract financial success, regularly visualize and affirm abundance while linking it to a chosen symbol. The key here is not passive hope, but active reinforcement. The more certainty you place in your assigned meanings, the stronger the synchronicities become. Strengthening belief through consistency is crucial. The mind operates through repetition, and the more you confirm a meaning, the more your subconscious filters reality to highlight it. This is why people who strongly believe in lucky charms or angel numbers continuously encounter them. Their focus turns these patterns into self-fulfilling prophecies. You can use this same principle to deliberately program synchronicities that align with your goals, ensuring that the reality you experience reflects your desires rather than randomness. Now that you know how to assign meaning, set intentions, and reinforce your beliefs, the ultimate question remains: how do you shift from seeking synchronicities to commanding them? The answer lies in the next and final step: embracing your role as the creator of your own reality. What if you no longer needed to look for signs, but could declare them instead? The greatest realization in mastering synchronicities is understanding that you are not just an observer of reality, you're its architect. Those who remain in a state of seeking are still operating from a place of uncertainty, waiting for the universe to provide guidance. But the ones who step into their full power stop waiting and start creating. The key to this transformation is certainty and clarity. When you are fully convinced of your direction, reality bends to match your conviction. This is why those who hold unshakable beliefs seem to experience effortless synchronicities. They are not questioning if signs will appear. They are certain of their path, and the world reflects that certainty. The moment you move from hoping for signs to declaring them with confidence, you shift from a seeker to a creator. One of the most powerful ways to solidify this shift is by aligning your internal state with the reality you want to see. This means acting as if your vision has already materialized, fully embodying the mindset and behaviors of the person who has already achieved what they desire. Instead of looking for signs of abundance, you assume the mindset of someone who is already abundant, and as a result, your world reorganizes itself to reflect that state. Another crucial element is commanding synchronicities instead of waiting for them. This means consciously choosing the patterns and symbols you want to reinforce in your life and declaring their presence. You decide what a repeating number or symbol means, and your subconscious mind aligns to bring it into awareness. This is no longer passive manifestation, it is deliberate creation. The final realization is this: reality bends not to those who wait, but to those who command. When you take full responsibility for your perception, your focus, and your belief, synchronicities no longer feel like random occurrences. They become tools, mechanisms that you control to affirm and manifest your chosen reality. And this is where true mastery begins. Are you ready to step into your power?